How good are the Eagles going to be? How many games you got them winning?
Yeah, it's funny because we opened up yesterday with, look, they're the betting favorite now, right? I saw them at plus 130, Dallas at plus 155. And John and I discussed on my show yesterday, Philadelphia, I think, has a better 53-man roster, but Dallas has the better quarterback, and they have the best defensive player of both teams. So how much do you weigh a quarterback versus a roster?
You got your Maga Mag guys here on Birds 365. Mike Gill is on the road today. Where the hell you going, Gill?
I'm going to the airport, man. I'm on my way to Philly, and the traffic is brutal.
Where are you going?
My girlfriend's going to L.A. I'm driving her to the airport. I'm on airport.
That's a good. That's a good boyfriend, Mike. I got to give you a plus, especially when you got to go all the way up to Philly from you. If it's a little Atlantic City airport trek, that's not bad.
I know it's but ACY doesn't get you to LA, so Philly it is.
Yeah. What gate is she flying out of, real quick, to get the minutia done? Hope it's not A. Tell her hope it's not A.
Terminal B.
All right, you're
Terminal
fine.
B.
You're fine. You're fine.
All
right.
If we can get there, this traffic is brutal. It doesn't help that it's raining out here, but.
Yeah, getting there might be the toughest part. Once you get to the airport, it may actually be easier than getting there. All right, Gill, I'm jumping from 11 to 12 wins. I said it this morning. I'm more excited about the Eagles. John thinks the optimism has kind of overflowed here and is now worrying maybe that we should skim back the optimism on the Eagles. Big picture. How good are the Eagles going to be? How many games you got them winning?
Yeah, it's funny because we opened up yesterday with, look, they're the betting favorite now, right? I saw them at plus 130, Dallas at plus 155. And John and I discussed on my show yesterday, Philadelphia, I think, has a better 53-man roster, but Dallas has the better quarterback, and they have the best defensive player of both teams. So how much do you weigh a quarterback versus a roster and the fact that they have Micah Parsons, and the Eagles simply don't. As much as the Eagles' defense has improved, they don't have that one player that can wreck a whole game, do they? So I think it's definitely an interesting question. There was a national radio host yesterday who asked who will win the East. 8,700 votes came in, and 57% of those people picked the Eagles, which kind of is odd to me because national radio doesn't generally work in Philadelphia. Dallas has fans all over the place, and still 57% felt the Eagles will win the East. So I see where John's kind of putting some caution here. Why are all these people all of a sudden
Scares me,
I
Mike.
think Philadelphia is better than Dallas. But if you look at it, the Eagles have a better offensive line. Their wide receiving core is probably deeper. I like their tight end better. Not by much. Schultz is pretty good. The running game depends on how they use Pollard, if you ask me. Parsons is the best player, but I think everywhere else, Philly's probably deeper and better. It's just that they have the best player on offense and defense that kind of makes this an interesting debate. But I got the Eagles at around 11, Jody, 11.
Yeah, I'm at 11 as well, Mike, and I haven't wavered from that. And if I were forced to go up or down, I'd probably go back to 10. I just think, and here's the email I got. Forget about the Cowboys, because I think the Eagles are going to win the NFC East. I think the tipping point, as I said on your show, was the Tyron Smith injury. And then, I get this email in my email box from one of the betting services. The Eagles have received more bets and over twice as much money to finish with the NFL, not just the NFC, the NFL's best record as the rest of the NFC combined. That means the Rams, the 49ers, the Packers, everybody. People love this Eagles team. That scares me.
But I'll tell you,
It should, right? I mean, they went from a team 2 years ago, right? They went from a team 2 years ago that seemed like they were in disarray, right? It was disarray 2 years ago. And now all of a sudden people think, I've seen people pick them to go to the Super Bowl, for God's sake. But if anything, the Cincinnati Bengals have showed you how quickly, and this league in general have showed you how quickly things can kind of turn around. We have to forget that 2 years ago they were in disarray and look at it in this vacuum of 2022. And I know fans have a hard time with that sometimes, especially, and this is where the Eagles should be separate from that. Yes, they don't have a lot of historical success in terms of Super Bowls, but overall, their franchise in the last 25 years has been a very successful franchise, save from winning Super Bowls. So you should be able to believe in this team. They have the experience in winning. Do they win the big game? No. But how many teams, this is the problem I have with fans sometimes, how many teams have multiple Super Bowls in a 20-year span? 2, 3? And, yeah, if you're managing yourself up against New England, the Giants won 2 long ago, Pittsburgh has 2 in my lifetime, not many teams win multiple Super Bowls. So the fact that you have one says you're successful in the last 20 years.
All right, let me maybe school you guys a little bit here about why it's not impossible for the Eagles to have the most wins in the NFL. Do we all three agree that the AFC is much more difficult than the NFC?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Mike Gill?
We had this discussion the other day. I'm a little I think there's 11 NFC teams. Is it 11 or 13? One conference, I think 11 teams can make it, and the other conference, I think 13 teams can get in. That's how many teams I think have playoff potential.
By the way, that's what makes the NFL great, because there's probably 24 fan bases around the NFL that thinks their team is going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, there are very few teams where I say I just don't see them making the playoffs. But okay. I think the conferences are closer than maybe you do then, Jody.
Yeah, I think the AFC is significantly better. So I'm going to eliminate all the AFC teams because they got to play each other. They're all going to beat up on each other. There are not as many lesser lights at the bottom in the AFC as there is in the NFC. So, yeah, I'm going to take out the possibility of an AFC team having the best record, which, oh, by the way, last year, the Tennessee Titans had the best record in the AFC. People forget that now. Tennessee won the most games in the AFC last year. And, oh, by the way, the AFC got better this year when adding a Russell Wilson and eventually a Deshaun Watson, who's not going to help the Browns get anywhere, but it'll help them in the last 2 months of the season. So I'm putting the entire AFC to the side. Who's going to win more games than the Eagles in the NFC? Maybe the 49ers, maybe the Rams, maybe the Packers, maybe the Bucks. That's it. That's it. So you've already gotten the Eagles to the 4th spot of all the teams in football. If there's only 3 in the NFC who can win more. Johnny thinks San Francisco can. I'm sorry, I'm not as big Trey Lance believer as he is, but I'm going to say the Eagles are going to win more games than the 49ers.
I'm not a big Trey Lance believer. I'm a big Trey Lance has got to be better than Jimmy Garoppolo believer, and that's already a good team. And you know, you could have sort of a Kaepernick effect where they went to the Super Bowl with Colin, because the rest of their roster, much like in Philadelphia, is so talented. So if people can look at Jalen Hurts and say Jalen Hurts, now he's farther along. He's played a full season, but still there's uncertainty at the quarterback position. You know, San Francisco is probably even better from their perspective. They certainly have proven to be better over the last 3-4 year span. So, and again, Mike brings up a good point with the Cowboys. And this was a big part of the loss to Tampa Bay. The Eagles didn't have difference makers. Tampa Bay did. Dallas still has difference makers. Dallas has the Micah Parsons, the Trayvon Diggs, the Dak Prescotts. Now, we hope the Eagles have it with A.J. Brown. We hope the Eagles have it with Hassan Reddick or somebody of that nature. James Bradbury added to Darius Slay. but do they have enough splashy players? Do they have enough game wreckers, as Mike Gill said, offensively or defensively? Mike?
Well, I ask this question too. Is CD Lamb ready to be an A number one wide receiver? Can he handle that? Michael Gallup's hurt. Do they have enough depth to make plays around CD Lamb? I think how they manage their run game is big. Is Pollard finally going to be the guy, because I took him in my fantasy league last night, to get more carries than Zeke Elliott? You know, I think they need to start making that phase, that shift of Pollard getting more touches than Elliott. And until that happens, I think there's still a lot of questions. Their offensive line, yeah, who the hell knows what they're going to do? You know, I mean, the Smith
Jason
kid,
Peters,
there was a lot
baby.
right? There was a lot of questions about Smith when they drafted him, and now they got to kick him out to the left tackle spot, I guess, until Jason Peters is in game shape. And even Peters, I'm not anti-Peters or any Peters hater, but he's certainly not the same player that he was. I mean, you're getting an average guy at best at that spot. I think their offense has a lot of questions, and their defense, I think, exceeded many people's thoughts because Parsons was so good. And look, quite frankly, Diggs, he splashed with interceptions, but very beatable. I mean, people still, it wasn't like he's Deion Sanders and people didn't go after him. No, they went.
It's probably over the Walt
Now
Whitman
there's a lot of
Bridge. There's always a
questions.
dead spot there. Mike, are you going over the Walt Whitman? There's always a dead spot.
No, I'm at Wells Fargo.
Yeah. Dead spot.
You got me
Mike
now.
Gill.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can get him back. Otherwise, there's Mike. We want
Yeah.
to make sure you get your girlfriend safely to the airport. So, but my bigger picture, Mike, my bigger picture is forget about the Cowboys. Did the Eagles have enough of those difference-making players? Because I think they were lacking. I think they were lacking that last year. They didn't have those
there's no
splashy
question.
guys who could make those big plays.
See, and I think the Eagles' splash is a collective group. You know, with Dallas has CD Lamb, that's their guy. Philly has a couple of guys. Is one guy the be all end all? That guy, maybe not. AJ Brown, I think he's just a tick below that A number one guy. But with him and Smith, now you have two guys that are really good. You throw Goddard into the mix, really good. I think their question is on defense. Who is the guy on defense that if I'm game planning for the Philadelphia Eagles, I need to make sure I know where number who is on the field at all times, and that's where I think they still maybe lack that splash player is on defense.
So let me get this straight. You like CD Lamb better going into this year than AJ Brown?
No, that's my question, Jody. Was can CD Lamb be an A number one? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
I love that kid, man. I'm going to get in trouble with Eagles fans.
He
I
may,
love CD Lamb. I love
he
him.
may be able to do it, but last year he had Cooper, and Cooper took a lot of pressure off, and Lamb was very good. He wasn't A number one, and now who's playing on the other side of him right now?
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine because they lose Cooper and they lose Cedric Wilson, another guy that I like. So I think
Right,
CD
and
Lamb is
James
going to draw.
Washington's hurt,
I think he's going to draw a lot of double teams this year.
Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
I don't know
No,
where
and-
I don't know where Michael Gallup is. Obviously, the hope is you get him up to speed as quickly as possible because that's a good receiver. Jalen Tolbert's their third-round pick. I don't know what he can do. But yeah, I think CD Lamb, I'm not saying he's better than AJ Brown, but I think he's in the conversation. I think he's at that level. I think he's a borderline top 10 receiver. I think they're in the same category for me. I think the kid's great. But
I think the better comparison is CD Lamb had his second year in the league last year. Can DeVonta Smith do this year what CD Lamb did last year for the Cowboys? I think so.
And if he can, I think Philadelphia has. That's where they have more weapons, and maybe they don't have that one splash player, but they have two guys who can be a problem. If you double AJ Brown this week, okay, Smith can be the guy. I don't know if you double CD Lamb. I don't know that Michael Gallup could be the guy for that week. Maybe he can. I mean, he's coming off an injury right now. He might miss some time. Dalton Schultz is another nice player. But, I mean, to me, Dallas has a lot of questions with Ken Lamb kind of take on that role now as being the guy as opposed to being – he was in the DeVonta Smith role last year where they had Cooper. Now they don't have Cooper, and I'm guaranteed. I would imagine, guys, that the coverage is going to change on him.
Yeah, I with the Eagles' offense, like I've been I think everybody's expecting these huge numbers. Like Jody said, can DeVonta Smith do what CD Lamb did? I don't know if you want him to. Can he be more impactful? Maybe. Because I think the Eagles have to have a different type of offense. So if I throw out numbers like A.J. Brown has 1,100 yards and DeVonta Smith is at 850 and Dallas Goedert's at 850, is that going to be disappointing for Eagles fans? Or are they just going to look at the number of wins, which I hope is what they're going to look at? But, I mean, if you're expecting big fantasy football numbers from the third option – whoever you consider the third option to be, the Eagles consider it to be DeVonta Smith. But if it's DeVonta or Dallas Goedert, I mean, how much could you rightfully expect from a third option?
Well, it's funny. What did Quez Watkins have last year? About 650 yards? I don't think anybody was talking about, like, wow, he had 650 yards, and he was the third option for the most part. If DeVonta Smith as the second option gets 850 yards, you're right, John. People might say, he's not all that good. But it's not that he's not all that good. It's just there's only one ball to go around, and you have a lot of good options in this offense. I think for me, for DeVonta Smith, I want to see what his yards per catch is. How many big plays does he have? Because last year, I think that's what was lacking from him, was making the big play, the down the field play, that game-breaking play, because there was so much attention on him last year that he just couldn't get free. I want to see him be more of a game breaker this time around this year than he was last year. He seemed like he was like a more of a possession guy than he was a big play guy, and I don't think that's really what fans were hoping for him.
All right, Mike Gill, last one for me, and we'll let you get to the airport safely, bud.
I'm here.
Very specific question. This Sunday, 9 minutes to go. Lions versus Eagles. Don't know who has the ball, but somebody has it with 9 minutes to play. Are we in a one-score game?
No, but it's 10 points, 13 points, 13 points.
Oh, that's
so even if the Lions have it, the Lions can't tie it. So the Eagles keep them out of the end zone, they win. Even if they score a touchdown, they get their hands on the ball, they run out the clock, they win. And it's not a one-score game with 9 minutes to go, is what you're telling me.
No, I don't think so. And last night, by the way, I got to see Hard Knocks for the first time, the 5th episode. And it's Dan Campbell basically cutting everybody. And I will tell you this. Like, that's one thing that I think is underrated in turning an organization around is the culture that is set. And it seems pretty obvious that the guys getting cut there felt that the culture in Detroit is starting to change. I don't know that means they're going to start winning. But, I had Joe Valerio on with me every Wednesday, and he told me, when he got cut by Kansas City, Marty Schottenheimer, they brought his wife in. They really had a conversation and thanked him for everything that he did. When he went to St. Louis, he said, people showed up late to practice. They showed up late for meetings. They showed up wearing clothes that didn't have the logo. Not so in Kansas City. And he said that's why Kansas City was a successful organization. And when I went to St. Louis, they just simply were not. Don't discount those things. And maybe Detroit's going in the right direction. That doesn't mean they're going to win a lot of games. But I think they play hard and they play tough because they respect that guy.
As do I, but here's the deal. Nick Sirianni, Detroit's coach, both in their second year, both building their culture. Who's got a better culture right now, Philadelphia or Detroit?
Oh, there's no question. And look, I think that's why Jacksonville, they had a clown show last year. They've got a guy who followed a clown show coming in there.
Yeah.
Does that mean Jacksonville's going to win a lot of games? No, but I think they're going to start believing and learning how to do that kind of stuff. And I think Jacksonville has a shot. 17 out of the last 19 years, a team has gone from last to first. I think Jacksonville has a shot to do that because that division stinks.
Yeah. Well, we see your girlfriend opening up the hatchback, so go do your boyfriend duties at Mike Gill Show, ESPN South Jersey. Drive time 2 to 6 every day. Tell your girlfriend to enjoy the beautiful people out in Los Angeles. I wish I was going to Los Angeles. I'll be going to Romulus, Michigan.
She's surprising her father for his 70th birthday.
Very nice.
And her brother lives in Redondo. Her brother lives around the corner from my college roommate. How random is that?
Wow.
All right. Yeah. Well, tell your college roommate we said hi. Tell your girlfriend's father we said happy birthday, and make it back down to the shore safely. That's Mike Gill here with us on Birds 365.